and share my screen. Let me know when you can see it. Hopefully now.
Almost. Yep, you're ready.
Perfect. All right. So, thank you everybody for joining here today. I know it's been a long session so far. A lot of good information. My name is Patrick Fuzzarini. I am part of the k-ecommerce team. We have been in the GP community for years now, easily 15 to 20 years. And we are a business-to-business focused e-commerce platform that's designed specifically for GP and BC. So what that means is all of that core data and integration and I guess integration points or all of that core data is being sourced from GP in order to make your online store functional in a way that B2B buyers can shop online quite effectively and place orders without necessarily having to reach out to somebody and do so. So today I'm going to go through the presentation itself. I'm going to go through a quick demo of just highlighting some of the key features that we need to talk about when speaking about business-to-business e-commerce. So first things first, we have this online store that you see before you. And in today's day and age, it's extremely important to make sure that any website is mobile responsive, and not just mobile responsive, but works well on a mobile device. And so that's one thing that we've done here in our platform is turned the online store into a tool that's very easy to work with online. You can see I can drag it quite effectively. I can open up menu items, which show me the entire page that I'm looking for, and kind of work through my experience the same way that you might do so on an application of sorts. We've spent a lot of time recreating the front end of this platform to fit these sort of standards in 2025. So that's the first thing. Now, when it comes to the overall design of the site, it's important to note that everything that you see on my screen is a demo store, but that doesn't mean that yours has to look like this. You can have, of course, your own logo, your own menu items that you see here, and anything related to the overall design of the site is controlled entirely by our customers using our content management system. So the idea is we give you the keys to the car, we show you how it works. It's very easy to work with. You can go ahead and make changes as you need. Now, as for the experience itself, we'll switch gears a little bit now and pretend that we're a customer, in this case, buying. Now, this is a B2B store, as I said. So if I try and shop for something in one of my categories, you'll notice that I can see those items, but I can't actually buy at this point. It says connect to view price. And that was strategically done by me so that we only allow registered customers to shop and purchase from us, right? Those that we're doing business with. Of course, you can switch it up and you can offer the full direct-to-consumer experience through this platform as well, no problem. But in my particular environment, I've decided to turn it into a B2B store. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and sign in, since we can't actually shop, and move forward. And when I do so, you'll be greeted with your typical options as a returning customer, right? Email address and password. Any new customers that want to become a customer of yours can register on the fly. And the general idea here is once I've signed in, skip this page. Once I've signed in here, I'll be given access to all of my core data that I have when doing business with you. And that includes things like the latest orders I've placed on account with you, right? This is a reflection of the last 5 orders that I placed with you. And it's not only, I'll say, the last 5 orders, but if I go into the order history, I can get a much deeper view into every single order placed under my account just by entering a few, let's say, search terms here. Whoops, that's one day. I want to go with all time. So you can see here every order I've placed through the system that exists in GP. It doesn't matter if it was placed through the online store or if it was done manually over the phone or any other means, they will be visible here for people to see. So it serves as a kind of self-service tool for anybody shopping online. In the similar fashion, status of the order is a key component here. You see a lot of them are pending, but this status will automatically be updating, as you see here, with the information we get from GP. So as that order goes from a sales order to an invoice, as that invoice gets shipped out and so on, all of that information is used by our system to know what the order status should be saying here for our customers. If I'm the type of buyer that likes to order the same thing all the time, very B2B style, I can order again with a simple click. But for today, we're going to skip through that and we're going to go back to our hand dryers that we saw a few moments ago. And now that I'm logged in, if I scroll down the page, what you will notice here is that my products have actual information on them. I see the price that I should be getting. So this is reflected as the customer specific price from GP. And it's being viewed here for my own use. So I know what I'm getting, and if somebody else decides to log in, they might see a very different price depending on their pricing structure. And I can shift through these products. I want to select maybe the gray version this time around. I can go ahead and do so and just click add to cart. And just like that, the new item is in the shopping cart. And we can continue on. Now, opening up this item itself gives me all of those item details. And naturally, a lot of this data, as I said, is coming from that integration with GP. Things like the title of the product code, most definitely, inventory levels, the pricing, as I already mentioned, these are all coming from GP. So the minute they change in GP, they will be synced to the platform so that they're visible here. There's a lot of other data on this page that you might have noticed that doesn't sit in GP, very simply because it doesn't have a space for it. And so for any additional information that you want to add to your products that can't be stored in GP, let's say they're e-commerce focused pieces, such as long descriptions, maybe even images, downloadable content, videos, all these sorts of things, they can be added through our system directly quite easily. Now, with that said, what I'm going to do is go to one last way to order products. And this is what we call the Order Express or the Quick Order tool. And it's very strategically designed for business-to-business users. And what this is essentially a spreadsheet-like view of my shopping cart where I can enter the code and quantity of the item that I'm looking to purchase. In this example, what I'll do first is I'll empty the cart so that we get a clean slate. And when I do so, I can pretty much just enter any search term I might want. And then I can put the quantity. But I don't know my codes by heart. Some customers might, but I don't. So in that case, I'll open up a search panel. And what this will allow me to do is have a left-hand search bar here where I can put in pretty much any information that I want. So let's say I search for the keyword clutch. I get 3 types of clutches for my car that I can add to cart that easily. And I can continue on. So instead of having to have multiple clicks to create an order, you can do it here in a couple. But the real strength of this tool comes in the form of online sheets, or I should say spreadsheets that customers might be sending to you and your sales team. And so to deal with that, what we do very simply is allow any sort of sheet that includes item codes and quantities. And all we have to do is that if I receive this kind of sheet, or I'm the type of user that likes to have this, I can copy and paste those 2 cells into my page here. And just like that, everything will be added to the cart within seconds. You'll notice that one of those items is red, and that's because we're checking for any errors or situations that might come up. In this case, this item code that I copy pasted does not exist. So it's telling me so, and I can remove that item. With that, I can proceed here, and I'm going to go ahead and do so and sift through this order placement page rather quickly. We've all done this type of ordering online before. We get key data like your billing information, shipping information, and so on. There's 2 points that I really want to cover here. The first one is shipping. The second one are payments. When it comes to shipping, pretty much all the addresses that you might want to put can be input. That includes billing addresses, shipping to a new address, or selecting from a previously used list from a dropdown. And to add to that, we have a pickup in store feature that lets anybody select a location, be it a warehouse or even another location where customers can show up on the day that they designate, even at the time that they might designate in order to pick up their goods. And what's best is that you can decide what time slots you make available for people to pick up at. Once we've added our shipping information, Shipping methods are all listed here, and the calculations are done through the carriers that you see on the screen, or we can do our own manual calculations here to get costing. And then we move forward with the order. And as I said, the other important piece to talk about here is payment information. So when it comes to payments, just like pricing, just like shipping methods and many other elements in the system, payment methods are on a per customer basis. So that means each customer can potentially have different options that you see listed on my screen, depending on who they are. So if I'm a net 30, net 45 type customer, I can have bill on account and essentially just defer payment to a later date by agreeing and confirming. If we don't necessarily have terms, well, then other options can be available like credit card or ACH or EFT transactions, so bank transfers. And what's great to note here is that the k-ecommerce platform for years now has been fully PCI Level 1 certified. So that means all credit card information that passes through this system passes through in the most secure way possible as to what the standards are in 2025 for credit card capturing online. Each year we renew our certification to make sure we're up to date with all of the standards. With that said, I can go ahead and confirm my order and be on my way. But to finish this up, I'm going to switch environments for a quick second and create that order so we can see what it looks like in GP. So I'll change environments here, and I'll kind of do this in twofold. We'll take a few steps, one step back. I have another environment here that I've logged into already. And this environment, let me just stop my timer. This environment is another online store, so it looks different. But the idea is that now what I'll be doing is recreating an order, but pretending that I'm an internal sales rep. Right? So I'm not the customer buying, but I'm actually an internal team member who maybe receives a phone call or receives an email from the customer to order. So using our tool, the customer service rep or a sales rep can gain access to the customer search, which lets them see essentially every single customer in the ERP. So you can see this list. It might be familiar to some of you with test data from GP, but ultimately I can open up one of those accounts. And when I do so, you'll notice at the top of my page that I'm logged in as Bob Fitz from Aaron Fitz Electrical. And everything we just went through is the same, right? I can see my latest orders. I can see the statuses of those orders. I can assist the customer in any way that they might need in relation to sales order placement or history. I've already got an item in the cart, so I'll just go ahead and place that order. And when I do so, we'll skip through this as we already talked about it. When I do so, in the background, many things happen. First and foremost, that order within seconds will be created in GP. So you'll see that order here in a minute or so. When I go to it, you'll see that order in GP created in the system. Secondly, and very important as well, our emails are being sent out to all parties involved. That includes the merchant saying, hey, a new order came in. And of course, it includes the customer saying, thank you for your order. Here is your order information and so on. So if I open up that web order, you see that the GP order number 4737 exists. That's because we created the sales order the same way anybody else might using the next in line sales order number. So I'm going to open up GP here. It might be a little bit small. I do apologize. But when I sift through to that order, you will see the order placed with the to quantity and the total amount. Everything you see here is not introducing new fields, new tables, new things in GP. It's all using standard business functionality from the system. So I hope that does a really quick turnaround. I know I spoke quite quickly. I do apologize for that, but obviously there's a lot to cover. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out. With that said, I want to take the last minute I have here to thank Amy once again for all the hard work she does and pass it back to her.
Thank you so much, Patrick. This is great. Making it seamless and easy to have your web store up and ready to go and start selling those products, which is what we all want to do.